Hi, I'm Bagheera from 9th Brighton Scout Group and I'd like to welcome you to Cub Scout TV. Each week we'll be bringing you a half-hour program full of scouting activities for you to participate right now, along with resources that you can do throughout the week. Don't forget to email in your work so that we can share it with everyone during the show, and also to invite other people along, other friends of yours that would be interested in Scouts. They don't need to be Cub Scouts, they're going to have just as much fun doing this as you are. So, let's get started. Now, I know you're at home, but don't be shy in making some noise. So, are you ready for our opening parade? Ready? Pack, pack, pack! Pack ready to break the flag. Okay, pack at ease. Now, first off, we're going to play a game. It's the north-east-south-west game, which you might be aware of. Now, for those that don't know, north is going to be, now you're at home, north is going to be coming towards me. And south, obviously, is the opposite of north, so it's going to be behind you. The sun rises in the east, so that's to your right, my left, and sets in the west. So that's your left, my right. Now, how do we remember northeast, southwest? Naughty elephants spray water, or it could be never eat slimy worms, or the one that I grew up with, which is never eat soggy wheat bix. So the way that we play this game is if I say north, you're going to run towards me. If I say south, turn around and run to the back, or jog. If you're at home and it's only got a small space, don't run into furniture. If I say east, then run to your right, and if I say west, then run to your left. Okay, so jump into the middle of the room. We're all warmed up, ready to go. North, south, east, west, north, west, north, south, north. All right. How did we go? Hopefully okay. No damage. All right, back in the middle of the room, guys. Now I'm going to do it without pointing. So stop looking at me, just listen to what I'm saying and remember where north, east, south and west is. All right, you ready? Let's go. South, east, north, south, west, north, east. Okay, how did you go that time? A little bit more difficult? Right, now the next one we're going to do is we're going to add in a couple of different activities to do during this. So, the first one is going to be scrub the deck. So when I say scrub the deck, I want you to get down on the ground and start scrubbing like you're scrubbing the deck. Then, captain's coming on board. So jump up, do a salute. And the last one is climb the rigging. So if I say climb the rigging, I want you to, running on the spot, climbing the rigging. All right, you ready? Let's go. North, scrub the deck. East, west, captain's coming on board. South, west, climb the rigging. North, east, captain's coming on board. Climb the rigging. Scrub the decks. Captain's coming on board. Okay, great. Well done, everyone. Pat yourselves on the back. Hopefully you got that okay. Right, now, each week we're going to be doing a whole bunch of activities and you'll be doing activities at home. So what I want you to do after the program today is to put together a scout box. And this is going to have lots of items in it that you'll need to use each week. So in that will include some sticky tape, a pen or pencil, notepad, if you have it, some string, some glue, some pens or pencils or markers, anything that you can colour in with, some A4 paper, just some plain paper, doesn't have to be white, it could be coloured, a piece of rope 1 or 2 metres long if you have it, because we'll be doing some knot work, we're going to be doing that soon, and also a scout book. If you don't have your scout book, that's okay. If you're not doing scouts, we'll have resources online that you'll be able to access. So I want you to, after this, see what you can scavenge around the home. Ask your mum and dad for permission before you take stuff. What's also missing from in here you'll need is some scissors as well. So put that together and have that ready each week when we start the show. Okay, so next we're going to move on to doing some knots. So for those that aren't familiar with Scouting and Cub Scouts, is that we have a Cub Scout book, and in that we have the Boomerang Challenge. We have the bronze, silver and gold boomerang challenges, which is for the different age groups in Cubs. But within that, task 3 is all about knots. So today we're going to run through 2 knots, the Reef Knot, and the Reef Knot is the knot that's on the World Scouting logo. And we're also going to do the Bowline Knot. So I'll just undo my rope here and we'll start with the Reef Knot. So this is one of the most popular knots that you'll see. It's quite easy to remember, and there's just a little saying that we say. So first of all, grab the rope, have a little bit loose at each end, and we go right over left and just tuck that under. And then we go left over right and tuck that under. And when we pull the knot together, we should be able to see these 2 loops that come together, and so then we can, when we tighten it, it doesn't slip, and to undo it is very simple. So let's just move across. I'm just going to go across and show that from a different angle. Okay, so just make sure you've got the rope. Just have it loose in your hands with a little bit hanging over each end. And we're going to go right over left and tuck it under. Make sure you've still got a bit of rope left. And we go left over right and tuck that under. And when we pull it tight, we can see we have these 2 loops. And when we grab the rope and push it back, see those loops? So if you've done what we call a granny's knot, where we've gone right over left and then right over left again, it just becomes an absolute mess. See, it's slipping, it becomes hard to undo. So that's the reef knot. The reef knot is also used to tie your shoelaces. And so when we tie shoelaces, we go right over left, and then we create a bow and we go left over right. And that's how you tie your shoelaces. If you were to tie your shoelaces the other way without using a reef knot, that's when you find that your shoelaces become undone during the day. Okay, so I'm going to move back and let's have a look at the bowline knot. Okay, so the reef knot's a pretty simple knot. Now we're going to go to a more advanced knot, and that's the bowline knot. So the bowline knot is used when you want to create a loop in a knot and tie a knot in it, but that loop doesn't slip. And it's used in situations, say you were wanting to rescue someone that's stuck in water or down a hole, and they were going to tie that around their waist and you're going to lift them up. You don't want it to squeeze tight around their waist. So with the bowline knot is that first we create a loop, and the way this works is we have a little story about this. And so this is a rabbit, and the rabbit's hungry, and the rabbit comes out of his rabbit hole that we've formed, and he looks around for something to eat. There's nothing that he can see. He has this tree. The other bit of rope is the tree, and he goes and has a look around the tree, does a loop around the tree, still can't find anything, and then remembers he's got something to eat down in his hole, and so he heads back down into his hole. And then we tighten that all, and we've now tied the bowline. So when I pull on this, you can see that knot is staying in place. So as I said, this is a great knot if you were needing to be rescued. So if someone had thrown the rope, if I was stuck down a hole, someone had thrown a rope down, I could tie that rope around me. I still form the loop, and now I can remember my rabbit story. The rabbit comes up through the hole, goes around the tree, around the tree, and back down the hole. And then when I tighten that, I can be pulled out of the hole, and this isn't going to tighten, it's not going to squeeze me, and it's not going to come loose. So that's the bowline. We'll move over to the other camera and have a look to see what that looks like from above. Okay, so first of all, we need to form a loop. It's important that the loop goes up and over rather than under. That's no good. So form it up over the string that's coming down. We then grab the other end, that's our rabbit. It comes up through the rabbit hole, around the tree, and back down. And so then when we pull it tight, hold on to these two pieces together, hold on to these two with your left hand, and pull that tight. And there we have the bowline. So we'll have some instructions around this on our website that you can practice during the week. Two fantastic knots that you'll be using throughout your scouting time. As part of your boomerang task, one of the things you need to know about is the care for ropes. How to look after your rope. So firstly, don't leave it on the ground. It's just going to get dirty, people will step on it, it'll get grit in it, and that'll cause it to fray and eventually for it to break. Same thing, don't let chemicals get spilt on it that could weaken the rope. If it gets wet, if your rope does get wet, make sure you dry it out before you're storing it away. And just one other pretty cool thing is, don't just, grab your rope and just throw it into your scout box. One of the ways that we can tie up the rope is to coil it and put a couple of knots around it. So first of all, I've only got a small piece of rope, so I'm just going to do this one around my hand. But start by coiling the rope around your hand. Make sure it's a little bit loose so you can get your hand out. Once you've got a few coils and you've got a little bit of rope left over, squeeze the rope in the middle. The loop is coming down. We're going to start now twisting that around the rope. So I can put a few loops in, and then fold the rope over and poke it through the hole. And then that loop comes over the top of the rope and there you've got your rope all neat and tidy that can go back into your scout box. Now, if you're doing your bronze boomerang, you just need to know about taking care of your rope. If you're doing a gold boomerang, it's a good way, you need to practice that one. So practice that during the week, and then you can show that to your scout leaders when you get back to your scout hall and get that signed off for your badge work. Okay, now we're going to play another game. This one is going to be Kim's game. So let's go over to the table and get started with Kim's game. So Kim was a son of an Irish soldier in India who grew up amongst the native boys, and he was taught to be a master of observation. And so he would be given a tray of items. He'd have 1 minute to look at them, and then they'd be covered, and he had 1 minute to write down as many items as he had. Now this week I've got 10 items, and I just want you to have a look at these for a minute. We'll go through them all. I'll cover it over, and then see in your mind how many you can remember. I'll give you 30 seconds to try and remember them, and then I'll uncover it and see which ones you've missed out. In future weeks, what we'll do is I'll cover it up and give you time to actually write these things down. So on the tray, I have a whistle, a badge, a straw, a Pokemon card, a pen, a balloon, a marble, a hole punch, a scout woggle, and some glue. All right, so hopefully you've had enough time to have a look at it. Now I'm going to cover it over. And I want you to just spend, over the next 30 seconds, I just want you to remember and try to remember as many of those things as you can. If you've got a pen and paper, you can write them down, but otherwise, just in your head, just think about all the things that you saw on that tray. Doesn't matter what order you remember them in or how you do it. Okay, now how do we all go? So, did everyone get the whistle, the Pokemon card, the pen, the marble, the straw, the glue, the badge, the balloon, the woggle? Now, just one way that I like to play this game, the one way that I make it easy, is I tell myself a story about all the items on the tray. So I could be thinking, once upon a time I was walking down the road when I heard a train go by and I heard the whistle of the train. I was drinking a cool drink with a straw at that time and then saw a hot air balloon. And I wrote down on a piece of paper with my pen what colour that balloon was. It was a red balloon. I didn't have any paper, so I actually wrote it down on a Pokemon card, which I'd put a hole in with my hole punch, so I knew that it was mine. And you make up this story, so then when it's covered over, you go, oh, okay, right, there was a train whistle, I was drinking out of a straw, there was a balloon, I wrote down something on a Pokemon card. And so just try that next time you're playing Kim's game, is just tell yourself a little bit of a story as you're looking at the items to see if that helps you memorise what they are. Okay, so now I'm just going to tell you a little bit of a story about the Mahogany Ship. Now, the Mahogany Ship may be true, may be false. There's a story about a ship that was wrecked in the coast down near Warrnambool in southwest Victoria. And this little story is just what may or may not have happened to the Mahogany Ship. So a sailor was sailing with all his treasure on the Mahogany Ship one stormy night, and the ship, here's the Mahogany Ship, was sailing along, and it sailed a bit close to the coast down near Warrnambool, and it hit a reef, and the bow of the ship was torn off. And the captain was trying to work out how to right the ship when it gets spun around. And the stern of the ship hits the reef and is torn off. At this point, the captain gets all of his men into lifeboats and off to safety. But being the captain, he stays with his ship. And in the storm, the mast is ripped off the ship and the ship sinks, never to be seen again. Now the crew all got to shore, they were all safe, and they searched for days and days looking for their captain, looking for the treasure that was on board the Mahogany Ship. And no treasure was found, and the only sign of the captain that they ever found was the captain's shirt. So, let's go and have a look to see how you can make your very own captain's ship, and then you can show your friends how to turn it into a captain's shirt. So I'm using A3 paper. It works a little bit better with A3, it just makes it a bit bigger, but you can use A4, that's absolutely fine. So the first thing we do is that we fold the paper down lengthways. I fold it in half here just so I can get the centre line. We'll have instructions on how to do this on our website. So I've folded the paper down. Now I'm going to bring the edges in. Into the centres, like so. And then I just want to fold one of the bottom pieces up on one side, and then turn it over. And fold the other side up. So this looks a bit like a captain's hat now, but it's not quite finished. Now, put your hands in and fold it out to make it like a diamond. Just fold these pieces under. Turn it over, fold these pieces under. So we now have a diamond or a square. And on each side, we can then fold the bottom half up, flip it over again, fold it up. So now we're back with a little triangle. Now this is a bit that's a little bit tricky. So again, we can open it up at the bottom. And when we open it up, we can then, with a little bit of work here, now we can fold it out into a hat. And so that's the captain's hat or the captain's ship that you need to make. And then when you're telling the story to your friends or your mum and your dad afterwards, remember you tear off each end, tear it off, and then tear off the top, and when you unfold it, that's when you get your captain's shirt. So try that afterwards. It's a nice little piece of origami. Okay, so I'm not sure how many of you do songs in your cub packs, but we're going to sing Ginganguli, which hopefully everyone's heard before. I'll sing it through once, and then so you know the words, and then what I'll do is I'll sing it, and if you guys at home can then repeat after me. Don't be shy, there's no one listening at home. Your mum and dad will be thrilled to hear you singing in your lounge rooms. So let's get started. 1, 2, 3. Ginganguli, guli, 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 watcha, gingangoo, gingangoo. Ginganguli, guli, 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 watcha, gingangoo, gingangoo. Hayla, a hayla, shayla, a hayla, shayla, shayla, whoa. Hayla, a hayla, shayla, a hayla, shayla, shayla, whoa. Shalawali, 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 oompa, oompa, oompa. Okay, so I've done it. Now I want you guys to follow after me. So I'll sing a line and you repeat it after me. Are you ready? Let's go. Ging gang gooly 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 watcha, ging gang goo, ging gang goo. Ging gang gooly 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 watcha, ging gang goo, ging gang goo. Shayla, a hayla shayla, a hayla shayla, shayla, whoa. Hayla, a hayla shayla, a hayla shayla, shayla, whoa. Shalawali, 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 umpa, umpa, umpa. Excellent. Now hopefully that was fun and you followed along. Don't be shy. We'll put the words up on our website again so you can follow them, and we'll also put a link to a YouTube clip of that song so you can practice it yourselves. Right, now just before we finish, what I'd like to encourage you all to do during the week is to do some badge work. So if you've got your Scout book, there are obviously lots and lots of different badges. I'm not sure, have a look through. Some obviously will be easier to do if you're stuck at home and can't get out to school and other places. So I'm not expecting you to necessarily do your canoeing badge. But there's plenty of good ones in here. Some masks and sculptures, for example, codes and signalling. What I'd love you to do in codes and signalling is to use the phonetic alphabet to send me in your name. So the phonetic alphabet is like Alpha, Bravo, Romeo, Juliet, Tango, Whiskey, X-ray for the letters. So send me a note using the phonetic alphabet. Cooking, I'm sure there's plenty of time for you to be doing some cooking at the moment. So check out your badge work and fill that in. And then don't forget, get your mum and dad to take a photo of it and send it in. But also keep a record of it so when you get back to your Scout group, you can get that signed off and you can get that badge. If there's full, we'll have a look at being able to send in proof that you've finished your badge work, and we'll actually be able to post out badges to you. Okay, so now we've come to the end of the show, so we'll do our closing ceremony. Thanks very much for having us. I hope you've had a wonderful time. So just if you're back in the middle of the room, ready for the closing ceremony, so pack alert, pack at ease, pack, prepare for flag down. Pack, salute the flag. Pack alert. Pack dismissed. Excellent. All right, thanks very much everyone, and look forward to seeing you next week.